Visitors Bureau. How are you doing today, Molly?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me here today.
Oh, it's such a pleasure to have you. So you're here today to talk about some of the economic development that's been announced earlier in this week. You sent out a big press release earlier this week talking about some really good numbers. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. We joined Governor Lee's office as well as the Tennessee Department of Tourist Development on Tuesday in announcing the economic impact of tourism for 2019. The numbers recently came in from the U.S. Travel Association, and we were very excited that Putnam County was ranking 16th in the state out of 95 counties, and we were consecutively increasing in economic impact on all 5 measurable areas, from visitor spending to payroll to employment, and especially for state and local taxes.
Yes, and job growth. That's phenomenal.
Yes.
I mean, 16 out of 95 counties, and
Yes.
just a few years ago, you've come up to the number 16. You were at 14 a few years ago, is that correct?
We were at 19 a few years ago, so we've actually increased 3 rankings in the past few years, and that's incredibly difficult to move up in ranking because typically those who are adjacent to you in comparable destinations, for example, Wilson County or Columbia, some of those locations are very similar in size and in tourism expenditures, but most everybody is increasing at the same time. So when you can surpass, it's very big accomplishment.
It is a big accomplishment. So tell me, how do you feel this shows the value of tourism, especially during a time that the industry has been going through so much change with COVID-19?
Yes, this has been quite the year, I think, on all levels. But the travel industry has been impacted more than any other industry worldwide. And if you think about hospitality or travel or tourism, those are all words that are used interchangeably. We determine anybody who's in the hospitality industry to be someone who interfaces with a guest in Putnam County. So that can be anyone from a hotelier to an Airbnb host or a restaurant owner, your waiter or waitress, or a gas station attendant. Anybody who interfaces with our guests to Putnam County is considered a hospitality partner. And so many of them have been hurt through this pandemic. So we're looking at tourism in a whole different light and showing how it truly is an economic driver for our state. It's actually the second largest industry in Tennessee.
Agriculture being the first, I assume?
Yes, and we also like to promote agritourism, so it kind of ties those top 2 industries together.
That is fantastic. So what is the role of the Cookeville-Putnam County Visitors Bureau, and why should local citizens be involved in that?
So the numbers that we most recently received show that economic impact. And when we're putting heads in beds here, when we're bringing people here to have those experiences, when they're coming and leaving their dollars here, they're impacting the community in a much bigger way than most citizens realize. So these economic impact numbers that were received on Tuesday show that every household in Putnam County has a savings of $377.97 in tax relief. So everybody who owns a home is saving that amount of money due to visitors coming here and spending their money.
That's great. I mentioned earlier the effects of COVID. So where does Putnam County tourism stand in terms of being affected by the pandemic?
Well, we've had a lot of impact, obviously, from restaurant owners and shops who are doing everything they can to keep their doors open, to hotels having to furlough their employees, some hotels having to temporarily close. So the pandemic has definitely affected us. We are really trying to be a resource for our hospitality partners and to be able to be there for them throughout this and help to market and get folks back through their doors sooner. In terms of where we have actually stood, in April we were down more than 60% in revenues. And
Wow.
Now we're still down, but only down just about 20%. That was the most recent numbers for July. So due to being a rural destination outside of a larger metro area, we're able to be a little more resilient.
Okay. Well, those numbers are improving, so that is a good thing. So, if a local business is needing support, who would they contact you directly?
They can contact us with the Cookeville-Putnam County Visitors Bureau at info@visitcookvilletn.com. We also have a hospitality partner Facebook page, and you can actually just look up Cookeville-Putnam County Hospitality Partners, and there's where we're sharing a lot of resources as well.
Good. Great resources to tap into for sure. How can area businesses help in the recovery efforts?
Yes, we're definitely trying to abide by the Tennessee Pledge and working with the Tennessee Department of Tourist Development. Their commissioner is also the ERG, or the Economic Recovery Group Director. So anything that our partners and our businesses in Putnam County can do to create that perception of a safe environment for people to travel to will help us to be able to better market and invite people to come and spend their money.
Good. Tell us a little bit about Tennessee Pledge for those who don't know about that program.
So the governor issued the Tennessee Pledge program, I guess it was a couple of months ago now. And of course that encourages mask wearing, it encourages sanitizing, and you can actually go to the TennesseePledge.com website to be able to see all those guidelines and help your business to abide by those.
That's great. So what's coming up next for the Visitors Bureau with you?
We're really focusing right now on just recovery marketing. That multi-phase process, we're going to be working really closely with the Tennessee Department of Tourist Development and putting together that multi-phase recovery marketing plan. And we're hoping that with the CARES Act dollars that have been allocated for Tennessee tourism, we'll be able to really help Putnam County to grow to a bigger and better destination than ever before.
That's great. And that CARES package will certainly help you and your team. Any big events? I mean, we've got the big WCD PBS Film Festival coming up on Saturday. What other big events do you have planned coming up late summer or into the fall?
Well, we're really looking at a lot of things. Obviously, with COVID, things are very uncertain from time to time. There's a lot of great virtual things that are happening. We do have an event page on the visitcookvilletn.com website, so people can see the film festival listed there as well. And also on our Facebook page, there's an event page. Obviously, we're looking a lot at the Blue Cross Bowl right now as we host that each year. And if high school football season is able to make it all the way to December, which we're hoping it will, we'll be hosting that in December, and looking forward to that. We put a lot of work into that event.
That's great. So how's our friend Zach Ledbetter doing down at the state? I know you must miss him every day.
We love Zach Ledbetter. I talk to him almost every day. With him being the Director of Outreach and Engagement, he is one of those people with the State Department that is helping with a lot of the recovery efforts. And so we're bouncing things off of him daily, and he's never bored, that's for sure.
Oh, yes. He's always got a million things going on his plate.
Yeah.
So anything else coming up from your end before we end the segment?
We're just encouraging everyone to stay positive through all of this, to have a lot of excitement about the things to celebrate in terms of the economic impact that we have now, in terms of the trending increases back into being able to get our hotels and our restaurants and everyone welcoming guests again. And I just want to say thank you to all of those on the front line. We have so many people who interface with our guests. We market to our tourists every day to bring them here, and you all are the ones who get to welcome them and interact with them, and we definitely appreciate that.
Yes, absolutely. And we also want to thank and encourage our local citizens for supporting the small businesses.
Absolutely.
Coming out, either takeout or dining in, because that certainly helps support the business and keep them going during this time.
Yes, and we also encourage local residents to be a tourist in your own town. The Upper Cumberland region has so much to offer, and of course, through programs here with Wcte, Live Green Tennessee, and Tour the Upper Cumberland, you'll find all kinds of things to be able to see and do in our own backyard.
That's exciting. Okay, well, Molly, I appreciate you coming today. You've been such a pleasure, and I will be seeing you soon, and hopefully I'll see you at the WCTE PBS Film Festival.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, please stay tuned, and we will come back with Laura Holloway, the director of this year's WCTE PBS Downtown Film Festival.
People are celebrating the centennial of the 19th Amendment in different ways in different states. The 26th of August was when the 19th Amendment was placed firmly within the United States Constitution by the U.S. Secretary of State. But here in Tennessee, we're celebrating that centennial on the 18th, because that's when, August 18th of 1920, that our Tennessee General Assembly, and in fact, specifically the Tennessee House of Representatives, voted finally to bring in the 19th Amendment to be a part of the U.S. Constitution. And so, you know, we're in a celebratory mode, which is a great thing, and it's a learning opportunity. But more importantly is the fact that the centennial of the 19th Amendment needs to be understood as an opportunity for us to reevaluate and restudy and reexamine and recommit to voting, which is critically important to the democratic process. We as Americans have a responsibility to participate in the franchise, and we worked so hard to make it possible. African Americans worked so hard to make the 15th Amendment possible. Women worked so hard to make the 19th Amendment possible, and 18-year-olds became eligible to vote with the 26th Amendment, and we cannot abrogate that responsibility. What has happened since the reduction in the authority of the 1965 Voting Rights Act is that the United States has actually gone backwards in certain states. Federal authority to look at states' individual voting laws were lifted by the United States Supreme Court, and there have been regressions that have been unfortunate because we do not have a widespread franchise. So everybody has to understand that the reason why we celebrate opportunities such as the centennial of the 19th Amendment is because we use that as a time to recommit to being American citizens. So how does that apply to university students? So for us at MTSU, which is where I teach, and I had a program there called the American Democracy Project for Civic Learning, we are responsible for MTSU votes and for getting our student body out to the polls. And it's true across the state of Tennessee, certainly within higher education. I'm sure Tennessee Tech has a similar program where they're working hard to get students out to the polls. We have to get every Tennessean registered in this fall's important presidential election by the 5th of October. And because we have had issues going back and forth about how absentee voting can work and should work in the state of Tennessee, we're right smack dab in the middle of coronavirus. So there are a lot of folks who would like to vote by mail, and that's doable if you fit one of 14 categories. So everyone needs to go on the Tennessee Secretary of State's website and read what those categories are. Then you can apply for an absentee ballot and submit it. But what I want to suggest to our students, and in fact to most Tennesseans, if you're capable of getting to the polls, we need the election this particular fall to be definitive and solved on the night of November 3rd. 2020, and everyone needs to get to the polls, and they need to know how to do it wisely. So we've learned over the past 6 months of coronavirus what we need to do. We need to wear masks, we need to wear gloves. If you want to go to the polls, take your own pen, take your ID. If you have a Tennessee driver's license, that's a good thing to take. If you do not have a Tennessee driver's license, take your passport, but show up at the polls, but be sure you're physically registered by October 5th. And then early voting starts on the 14th of October. Get to the polls as soon as you possibly can and vote this fall, because we have a presidential election in Tennessee. We have a United States Senate seat that's open. And of course, we have every single one of our 9 congressional districts are up for election this fall, and our Tennessee legislature seats, both in the House and the Senate. So voting's important. It's critically important, and anyone who believes that one vote does not count or that your vote does not count needs to have that erased from his or her mind, because voting is critical for every single citizen. We all got to do it. Everyone needs to participate. It is a right and it's a privilege, but it's also a responsibility to vote. So everyone needs to get out and vote. It's a part of maintaining a viable democracy, and if we don't participate, we don't get a voice.
Back. That was Dr. Mary Evans what a phenomenal person she is. I just want to let everybody know that Dr. Mary Evans is going to be Becky Magura's first host on 101 with Becky Magura on Thursday.
That's exciting.
Yes, September 10th at 8:30 p.m.
I'll put on my calendar.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, everyone, this is Laura Holloway.
Hello.
Laura Holloway is the director of this year's Wcte PBS Downtown Film Festival, and Laura is here to talk about this huge event you have been working on for many, many months, and it is this Saturday.
It is.
Saturday, August 29th. So, Laura, tell us about it from top to bottom.
Well, I'll give you the Reader's Digest version. It's a full-day festival from 10 a.m. until a little after 11 p.m. It's a full day of workshops and screenings. It's family-friendly. There's a full day of screenings happening at CPAC. There's outdoor walking workshops. It's very socially distant. We've designed a festival that allows people to come out and experience something new and unique, but doing it in a very safe way, especially with everything that's going on in the world right now. It's nice to have an option, something to actually go and do this weekend. But if you don't want to leave your house, we do have an option for that as well. All of the films will be screened online, so you can find out all that information at downtownfilm.org.
That's right. And you know, Laura, we do have a hurricane.
No,
Laura.
I have not heard this. This is news to me.
Yes, yes. And so we are
Yeah.
monitoring the weather.
We are.
And we're looking at it day by day. And if we needed to cancel any part of the event, we would certainly update people on the website
Yes.
and Facebook. So
Yes.
at this time, we are moving forward with a day
Yeah.
full of fun activities, workshops, film screenings.
Yes, it's going to be awesome.
I mean, it's going to be a day for families, kids, teens,
Everybody.
grandparents, great-grandparents.
Yeah.
I mean, a little bit of everything for anyone and everyone.
Sure. Yep. There's something for everybody, and there's delicious food available, and just a lot of different things that are happening and going on throughout the day. All of the outdoor screenings are free, and all of the screenings at CPAC are socially distant. They're designed to let you sit with your party, and then the next party would sit 6 feet away. All of those are just $5 to see. So workshops are $10, featuring industry professionals, people that are living and working in the film industry all over the country, are here in good old Cookeville, Tennessee, to be a part of this festival this weekend. And we could not be more proud of what we've created.
Yes, and we could not be a film festival if it wasn't for our strategic partner, Chad McDonald with the Cookeville Performing Arts Center.
Yes.
Chad has been so supportive, him and his team. And do you want to tell everybody about if they are planning to go see a movie
Sure.
at CPAC, what do they need to do as far as get a ticket for a particular show, or if they can see all the shows? Walk them through that process.
I am so glad you asked that. The best way to do it is go to downtownfilm.org. There's a full schedule of events there. You can purchase tickets right there. There's a link, a clickable button that you can click through. Purchase your tickets before you go. Try to handle as little cash as possible. Just make it really easy on yourself. Full day passes are also available in the form of a VIP ticket, which also gets you a few little extra perks as well along the way.
And a t-shirt, by the way.
Well,
I don't know.
t-shirts are available for purchase.
Yes.
Only the VIPs that bought their tickets before a certain date got the pre-ordered t-shirts, but we will have t-shirts available for sale. Very cheap, very great design. Cool things are happening. We're really
Yes.
excited.
I love the design this year.
Yeah, me too.
So let's talk about some of the workshops.
Yes.
One of the senior producers, editors here at the station is going to be giving a workshop on cell phone, as far as producing a
Yeah.
documentary using cell phones.
Yes, this is actually one of the workshops I'm most excited about, is because everybody's got a cell phone and everybody wants to try their hand at filmmaking, but sometimes you just need some tips and tricks from somebody that has worked on the other side of bigger and more expensive type cameras to teach you what they know, but to tone it down for your device. So it's going to be a really cool workshop. I'm really excited about that one. I'm going to skip whatever else is going on at that time and follow Noelle around for that.
So that's with Noelle Stoikov, our senior producer editor here at the station.
Yes.
Some of the other workshops that we can talk about, Young Filmmakers Workshop. I know Daniel Duarte is going to be
Yes.
running that workshop, and I'll be supporting them on that.
Yep.
And we've got some other great workshops coming up. We're going to be actually showing the Tornado documentary, Putnam Strong Tornado, that we premiered back in May, and we will be doing a talkback session with that
Yes.
on the stage at CPAC.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
What are some of the other great workshops? I mean, they are all phenomenal workshops.
Yeah, we've got some really cool people in town too that are part of our festival. Joshua Bishop, whose film is showing, called Made in Japan. He is an award-winning documentary filmmaker. He's going to be teaching a workshop as well. He'll also be involved in some talkbacks that are happening at CPAC when we show his film. Adam Drake is going to be participating in one of the workshops. He has worked as an assistant director on The Closer and several other big productions that are still being produced, even amidst the pandemic. So there's some really great people involved. There's a lot of knowledge to be shared, but more than anything, you don't have to be a filmmaker. You don't have to be a film producer. You just have to be a film lover. And there is truly something for everyone, from the kids to the grandparents to young adults, couples, families. We got something for everybody.
That's right. And in Dogwood Park, there's some great screenings that have been planned.
Yeah, I'm excited for that too.
A new kids PBS series coming out.
Hasn't even aired yet. They're giving us the first go at it.
Yes. Eleanor
Wonders Why.
That's right. And so that's going to be our first screening of the evening, starting at about 7 o'clock once we hit dusk. And then, of course, we're going to be screening American Portrait.
Yep, the American Portrait series.
Yes. And we should let people know about this series because, if it wasn't for PBS and American Portrait, this film festival probably would not be taking place on Saturday.
Yes, they are one of our biggest sponsors, and part of our partnership with them is introducing the American Portrait Project to our community. On Saturday night, one of the coolest parts of our festival, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but if you just want to walk around and soak up some film in a very fun and open-air environment, we're going to be projecting these American Portrait films onto the sides of the buildings on downtown West Side. So even if you just want to drive by and see what's going on, the coolest thing about these films is you will recognize the people in them because they were filmed by Cookeville locals. They're only a minute and a half each, but telling their story of what it's like to be an American now, things that you're going through during a pandemic, things that happen after a tornado, what it's like to be a nurse on the front line. And these are all people that you know, your friends, family, community, in these videos.
That's right. I saw your story last night, by the way.
I saw yours too.
Those were fun to make. And what the great thing about it is anybody who submitted a story on the platform and selected WCTE as their PBS station, we have taken every single story, and you will see your story on one of the buildings that's located downtown. And tell us about some of these buildings centrally located downtown.
Yeah, just pretty much if you're going in between Cedar and Broad and Cedar and Second, if you're walking in that area down near Red Silo and 37 Cedar, if you're walking around down near the Biz Foundry, you're going to see these films projected in a big way on the sides of buildings. So it'll be cool for people to walk around and look for themselves and to look for people that they know.
Free of charge?
Free of charge, totally free. Although you should stop in at some of those area restaurants or bars and patron them while you're there.
That's right. So I tell you what, Laura, can you talk about maybe one of the documentaries that you viewed over the weekend that won? Because there were so many wonderful documentaries that were presented to the contest, and we did select a panel of judges.
Yes, our panel of judges is some of the most qualified people working in public media wanted to be part of this festival, and I still don't know why, and I know that so much of it is Becky's has friends in all the world and all over the planet, just bringing somebody from Mars. All of these people agreed to be judges, so they judge these wonderful films. We've got 4 different categories. There's the best documentary, the best short documentary, the best mini doc, the Young Filmmakers Award, and then the Stanger Award, which is in honor of Seth Stanger, who was a WCT employee, for the best work in progress. And actually, it's really special. Leave is going to be there to present that award to that person. So.
Yes, that is very special, and we created that award in memory of Seth, and we are so glad to honor his memory with that award.
Yeah, for sure.
I tell you what, we're going to take a quick break, Laura, and then we're going to come back and have some more time to talk about the film festival, which is only a day
Hours.
away.
Get your tickets
away.
now. Get your tickets.
So we'll be right back. Thank you so much.
Looking for something new, exciting, and socially distant to do in Cookeville? The inaugural WCTE PBS Downtown Film Festival is happening August 29th in Cookeville. Film screenings, walking workshops, filmmaker talkbacks, and a free outdoor walking cinema tour featuring films starring you and your friends illuminated on Cookeville's historic West Side buildings. For more information, visit downtownfilm.org to share your 1-minute film, purchase your VIP wristbands, and learn about the brand new Central Tennessee event.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back. This is Live at 5. I'm here with my friend Laura Holloway, who's the director of the WCTE PBS Downtown Film Festival, which is on Saturday, August 29th.
So close.
Yes, it is. Laura, you've been working on this for many, many months, and I know in the past couple of weeks you have emailed me literally all throughout the night, it
Yes,
seems like,
yes.
and said, Brent, do you have
Yes.
this? Can I get this from you?
This is true. This is true. It takes a village. It's not me. The entire WCTE team has just dove headfirst into this project, and it's incredible.
Well, you've been helping lead that project, and I tell you what, you have helped get us all, wrangle us all in,
Glad.
and get all this together. So it's going to be a great, great day. We've been working on this for many, many months. So, Laura, before we went out into the commercial break right quick, tell us about some of the documentaries that you previewed, because there were documentaries that did not win maybe the final award, but they were really, really good.
I mean, I was amazed that our little film festival had entries from over 15 countries. There were people that submitted all over the world for what we were doing, and the winners represent 7 or 8 different countries. So it's really incredible to see their work. There was a lot of work that was submitted in other languages with subtitles, which was interesting to watch. A lot of the documentaries that were submitted that were shot recently, things that people were working on, were things that they shot while in isolation in the beginning of the pandemic, or things that they've been working on for a while. They finally had time to sit down and edit because they had this extra time at home in front of their computers. So some of the best documentaries, I shouldn't say some of the best, I was most impressed with the Young Filmmakers category.
Yes, and I know we've kind of broken that up into 2 categories.
We have.
Tell us about that.
There's a fiction category and a nonfiction category. We are a nonfiction film festival right now. I think there's definitely talk of expanding to include fiction in the years to come. But we wanted to open that category up to the young filmmakers because we had so many submissions that were fiction that were amazing. And we certainly want to encourage these young filmmakers and what they're trying to do in the world and their excitement and support of our festival. So we split it into 2 categories. One of the most impressive ones that I saw was a kid in Scottsdale. I say a kid, I think he was 16 or 17, who had filmed a documentary about internet hackers. And a lot of it was an interview where, they'd done the voice scramble and the blurred whatever, but him interviewing this hacker and the hacker talking about how he does it and how he did it. And it's really interesting. It's some really cool stuff.
The talent from these kids, I mean, is just incredible.
It is.
Do you think it's the technology that they have today versus when we were growing up?
I just feel like they're exposed to it so much earlier than we were.
That's true.
And plus, just like what we were talking about earlier with cell phone technology when it comes to filmmaking, I mean, every iPhone that comes out of the assembly line after an iPhone 6 has 4K. So if you know how to hold a camera correctly and you can get some good lighting, you can be a filmmaker. And some of these films actually were filmed on their iPhones. We had a film that was submitted. It did not place because it didn't really fit into our guidelines, but there was a film that was submitted by a little girl in the Ukraine that was a stop motion video where she had moved little pieces of paper around, and it was called A Chick's First Day. And it may not have placed in our festival, but it was first place in my house because our 2-year-old is obsessed with it. So we watch it all the time now.
Yes, and just the content just submitted through the Film Freeway platform.
Yes.
I just can't say if someone did not take first place to please reconsidering for next year.
Please resubmit. And even if you did take first place, submit again. Send us your new work. Our submission timeline will be much longer this year. We've got a handle on now how to create a film festival, I think. And so everything is going to start earlier. Start working on your films now. Be a part of this now. And in the years to come.
Yes. So we want to thank all of our sponsors. Cookeville Performing Arts Center as our strategic partner, and of course Storytelling Agency with Laura Holloway. Just want to thank everybody. We hope to see you all out on Saturday, September 29th at the WCTE PBS Downtown Film Festival. Thank you, Laura.
August 29th.
I'm sorry, August 29th.
Just making sure. It's only in a couple days. We all wish we had another month of planning, but y'all, it's going to be fantastic.
Thank you. We'll see you soon.
From one neighbor to another, WCTE PBS is here for you. Join us again tomorrow for today's show to re-air again at 5 p.m. We will return with a live news show on Thursday of next week at 5 p.m. Thank you for watching.